So in this activity, you are going to get your input sheet ready for the calculation of unit costs for multiple product lines. Do the following. Go to your input sheet and create the monthly production volume table as shown in the previous lesson. Convert it to an official Excel table and name it table production volume. Add a formula to calculate the total units produced at the bottom of the table. In your unit cost calculator sheet, use these percentages to allocate fixed costs to each product. Okay, so here is the solution for activity 3. We are going to create the monthly production volume in the input sheet. So here I'm going to create another table. We can call it table 4. Table 4 monthly production volume. Okay, can still use the same stuff here. Okay, so monthly production volume. Here I'm going to enter the products and the volume that is units produced. The products and units produced. So here, products units produced, we have the first product here. We have classic sourdough, pastries, then packaged cake. So classic sourdough loaf, we have 2000 units. We have pastries, then packaged cake. Pastries, I think 1500. We have packaged cake, 1000 units. We have blueberry muffin, 1000 units too. Okay, these are not in naira, so we're going to convert these to, instead of accounting, we just make it a number. So these are numbers. Now I'm not going to add. Now you check here, you see that this thing automatically has become a table, but we are going to convert it to official Excel table. So from here to here, press Ctrl T. Is already an Excel table followed by table overhead. So I'm going to convert it to range. I think it converted everything to range, so I'm going to separate this place now. Let's move it out of that location. Okay, so I'm going to close up this. Yeah, I made a mistake of joining this thing exactly after here, and the thing extended. So what I'm going to do is to bring this back again. I will put it here, space after. Okay, so is not a table right now. Okay, so I will now create a table out of it. So Control T, my table have header. Good. So this is going to be table production volume. Table production volume, please. Here is supposed to be product, and I'm going to use this same thing we have been using here. Okay. Okay, so I will change the table name to table production volume. Okay, now I'm not going to add in the total here because I might decide to increase my products, so it will help me extend the table. So what I'm going to do is to create the percentage calculation here. So here I'm going to get total percent of total. So we have percent of total here. Let me expand this a bit. Okay, so here being percent of total, we are going to do this divided by the sum of the whole thing here in percent. So what I'm going to do here now is to say equals this over sum sorry, this is supposed to be sum over sum of this, which is units produced. Okay, missing opening and closing parentheses. Okay, sum units produced. Okay, so that's it here. I'm going to round this off into 2 decimal places. Okay, so we are having something like this now into 2 decimal places. So if I add percent to it, that gives me 36%, 27%, 18%, and 18%. So we've gotten the percent of total. Now in our unit costs, I'm going to create another table here, but in the future we will likely remove the table. So the table is still going to be the same thing here. So I'm going to carry the products. It's going to be the same thing here, products, but the difference here is I'm going to use allocation, volume allocation, that is fixed cost allocation here. So fixed cost allocation for each of the products. Okay, so here we are going to multiply the percentage by the fixed costs. So this is the sum here. So what we are going to do here is going to be very simple. So you say equals this percent times sum of here. Okay, so this is the percentage for this particular one now. So we are going to move it down. Okay, so that's it. Now if we try to sum here, it's supposed to give us exactly 1.625. So that's the sum here, 1.625. So here we now have allocated the fixed cost to each of the products based on their production volume. Now you notice that these two have the same fixed cost allocation because the production volume is the same thing, and this one has the highest volume followed by this. Now if peradventure our unit input changes, let's assume that this instead of 2000 becomes 3000, and this instead of 1000 becomes 2000, and this becomes 1200, while this becomes 1700. Now you notice that the units, the percentage have also changed again. Now this one has quite a higher volume, and so that's it. The whole thing changes. So we don't touch here. All we need to do is to change the inputs here. Okay, so that's how you create the inputs, the monthly volume, allocate the fixed cost to each of the products. It's quite easy because the production volume is quite an important part of the calculation of unit cost. Now it's not finished. We are continuing in the next lesson.